All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something that probably drives you a little bit crazy. It's this puzzle. Why is it that we so often fight against the very changes we say we want the most? It's this deep internal struggle, and today we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the psychology behind it.
Sound familiar? You want that promotion. You want to start eating healthier. You want a better relationship. But then your actions just don't match up. You procrastinate, maybe you self-sabotage, you just stay put. Now, this isn't some kind of personal failure. It's a really fundamental human paradox, and we're going to figure it out together.
So, the very first clue in this whole mystery is this immediate mental battle that starts the second we face a big decision. Think of it like a psychological tug of war that's happening right inside your own head.
And you know, psychologists actually have a name for this exact feeling. It's called an approach avoidance conflict. It's that classic feeling of being pulled in two directions at once. The same exact goal can be like a magnet, pulling you in, and at the same time, a repellent, pushing you away.
This slide breaks it down perfectly. Let's take getting married. On one hand, you're drawn to the idea of companionship, building a life together. That's the approach. But on the other hand, you're also thinking about the potential for financial stress, arguments. That's the avoidance. Same thing with starting a business, right? The thrill of success pulls you forward, but the thought of all that hard work, the sheer effort, pushes you back. This right here, this conflict, is what makes us feel totally frozen and unable to decide.
But this whole internal tug of war, it isn't just about one decision. Oh no. It's actually being reinforced by your brain's powerful, kind of hidden default settings. And these settings are all designed to do one thing: keep everything exactly the same. They have a hidden agenda, and that is to maintain the status quo. See, our brains are lazy, so they use these mental shortcuts, cognitive biases, to protect what's familiar. For instance, you've got the status quo bias, which just makes us prefer things the way they are, even if they're not great. Then there's loss aversion. This one's huge. It basically means the fear of losing something feels twice as bad as the pleasure of gaining that exact same thing. And confirmation bias, that's you actively looking for evidence that staying put is the right call. And finally, anchoring bias gets us stuck on the very first thing we hear. You put them all together, and you have this incredibly powerful defense system against anything new.
But we've got to go even deeper, because this isn't just about some mental shortcuts. This resistance is actually wired into us by something way, way older, something rooted deep in our evolutionary past.
It's called life history theory. And the basic idea is this: our strategies for life, how we handle risk, our relationships, our resources, are all shaped by our earliest environments. So if your early life was unpredictable or harsh, your brain might have developed a strategy that's all about short-term survival, not long-term, risky plans for growth.
And this quote, wow, this is crucial. It completely reframes what we think of as bad habits or resistance. What if that thing holding you back isn't a flaw at all? What if it's a perfectly logical adaptation to a world you used to live in? A behavior that feels totally wrong now might have been the smartest possible move back then. Your brain is just running old software that used to work really, really well.
Okay, so if our brains are pretty much hardwired to resist change, how in the world do we ever move forward? Well, first, we have to understand the most powerful system at play. I want you to think of it as your own personal psychological immune system. It's designed to protect you from what it thinks are threats.
So here it is, the crucial point. Your resistance isn't just you being lazy. It's an active, powerful force. A couple of researchers, Robert Keegan and Lisa Lahaye, call this an immunity to change. And it's driven by a hidden commitment that is often the total opposite of your stated goal. It's like you're driving with one foot slammed on the gas and the other one slammed on the brake. And the coolest part is, you can actually diagnose your own immunity. It's a four-step process. First, you just state your goal. What is it you want? Second, you get brutally honest and list all the things you're doing that work against it. Third, you have to ask yourself, what powerful hidden commitment do these behaviors actually protect? And then finally, you dig up the big, often unconscious assumption that makes that hidden commitment feel absolutely necessary for you to survive. Let's look at a real example from the research to make this clear. Meet Helen. Her stated commitment, right there in column 1, is to lead this new, important project at her company. But her behaviors in column 2 show she's not delegating, she's micromanaging, basically undermining the whole thing. So why? Column 3 shows us her hidden, competing commitment. She's actually committed to not messing up her relationship with her subordinate by giving up control. And the big assumption holding this all in place, in column 4, she secretly believes she just doesn't have what it takes to lead a project like this. See?
Her behavior isn't irrational at all. It's a brilliant, if totally counterproductive way of protecting herself from that deep fear.
So once we figured out why we're stuck, we need a map for how to get unstuck. And the absolute key here is to understand that change is not a single event. It's a process, a journey, with very distinct, predictable stages. It all starts right here, in what they call pre-contemplation. You can think of this as the what problem stage. You're not even thinking about change because, as far as you're concerned, there's nothing that needs to be changed. The push usually has to come from somewhere else.
Next up, you move into contemplation. Okay, now you're aware. You see the issue, but you're stuck in that ambivalence, that classic approach avoidance conflict we talked about. You're mentally making a pros and cons list, thinking, maybe I should change, but that sounds like a lot of work.
In the preparation stage, the scale has finally tipped. You've made the call. This is a super important window of opportunity where you start making real, concrete plans. Looking up gyms, talking to a coach, outlining that business plan. You're gearing up to make your move.
And then comes action. This is the stage everybody thinks of when they hear the word change. You're actually doing the thing. You're hitting the gym, you're delegating those tasks, you're actively changing your day-to-day behaviors.
But the work is not over yet. Stage 5 is maintenance. This is where you focus on making those new behaviors stick for good. It's all about building systems and support to keep you from sliding back into your old ways.
And what happens when you do slide back? Because you probably will. It is not the end of the world. The model actually includes a 6th stage, relapse. And this is so important. It is not seen as failure. It is a normal part of the process. Every single relapse is just a piece of data. It's a chance to learn what triggered you and to make your plan even better for the next time around.
So, depending on where you are in this cycle, your job is totally different. If you're in contemplation, your main task is to raise your own awareness, really dig into your why. If you're in preparation, it is all about making a concrete, achievable plan. In action, it's about rewarding yourself for the small wins. And in maintenance, your focus shifts to building that support system to make it last.
Look, if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Your resistance to change is not a character flaw. It is not you being lazy. It is not a lack of willpower. It is a message from a part of you that is desperately trying to keep you safe.
Your reluctance to change, it isn't a bug in your system. It was programmed in on purpose. It's a feature. So the only real question left for you to ask yourself is this: what fear, what assumption, what part of your past is that feature still working so hard to protect you from today?
Thanks for digging into the psychology of change with us. We'll catch you next time on The Explainer.